Welcome to everyone. Welcome to another lecture of my YouTube channel, which is named as B. Chemistry. As I previously explained in my previous videos, that in that channel we are going to solve some basic chemistry problems which discuss in various kind of competitive exams. In my lecture portion, I start with physical chemistry solid state part, where I already uploaded 3 lectures regarding the solid state chapter. Now, I already explained in my previous videos that we are going to have another part of this YouTube channel where we are going to solve some competitive exam question papers regarding JEE Mains, NEET and also severals. So here this is the first lecture of the JEE Mains solve paper, in which we are going to have a memory based 2020 September morning session question paper. We are going to solve that morning session 2020 September question paper by having some memory based questions. The options that are given in that video lectures are not precisely exact, because this is a memory based part. As far as I can, as far as I have the source, I explain everything according to my datas and all. So I hope it should be helpful to your purpose to understand the concept and go for the JEE Mains solve paper. So I hope you will understand the part what I will teach you and I want to share with you. This is another portion of my YouTube channel where we are going to have some competitive exams question papers, and we will solve the paper as far as we can. In those competitive lectures, it is a memory based part. So as I explained, if there is any fault, any queries that you have which is not clear, go for the comment section and ask me at any time. Okay, so here we are going to start the thing where the 2020 September morning session memory based question paper is solved. So here we start the portion. So here we are going to start the 2nd September JEE Mains morning shift memory based question paper. As I explained to you, in that entire process I don't have the exact option that were given in that specified question papers in that morning shift and all. I have some my resources, and from that resources I got some questions for 2nd September morning shift. I hope it should be helpful to you to understand and grasp the concept regarding various kind of competitive exams, and you will apply those things what I am going to learn to you. Okay, I hope it should be helpful. So here we start the 2nd September morning shift question papers. Okay, so the first question that we have, that is 3 moles of O2 and 5 moles of argon are present. That is the question number 1. Okay, here we have 3 moles of O2, okay, and we have 5 moles of argon in a closed container. Find the value of internal energy of the system. Okay, you have to find the value of internal energy in terms of R delta T. Okay, so what are the formula regarding these things? The formula to calculate the internal energy is delta U equal to NCV bar T2 minus T1. Okay, there are 2 formulas regarding the first law of thermodynamics. One is for the internal energy, and second one is for the enthalpy, where is delta H equal to NCP bar T2 minus T1. Now here we have to take this one to calculate our main resource of sum of internal energy, and we have some options that are given in your exams. So we have 2 gases, one is O2 and the second one is argon, and we have to sum the delta U of O2 plus delta U of argon to calculate the whole delta U total of the system. I hope you get the point. Now the point is, if you consider this part, then we have to find out this T2 minus T1 part, that is something termed as delta T, and also we have to take the R part, because in the question they are asking you have to find the delta U regarding or in terms of R delta T. So you have to convert this formula regarding R delta T. डेल्टा टी वाला समझ में आ रहा है, बिकॉज यू हैव T2 माइनस T1 विच कैन इजीली राइट इन टर्म्स ऑफ डेल्टा टी. आर वाला समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, बिकॉज सीवी को तुम्हें आर में कॉन्वर्ट करना पड़ेगा. यू हैव टू कॉन्वर्ट सीवी इनटू आर पार्ट, देन यू कैन ओनली कैलकुलेट दिस पोर्शंस. आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड द पार्ट. नाउ द पोर्शन इज when you have to calculate the CV part regarding R, here you have two things. One is oxygen and second one is something called argon. The difference between oxygen and argon is oxygen is something termed as a diatomic molecule, correct? Oxygen is something termed as a diatomic molecule and argon is something termed as a monoatomic system. If you remember your part of gamma, which is a ratio of Cp by Cv, and you have another equation which is in thermodynamics Cp equal to Cp minus Cv equal to R. The gamma value for the monoatomic gas was 1.67 and for the diatomic it was around 41. Okay, around 1.67 for the monoatomic and for the diatomic it was 1.41. So we have to know this Cp and the Cv ratio to calculate the gamma, and this Cp and the Cv has to be calculated in terms of R. So if you know the Cv individual value or the Cp individual value in terms of R, then we can put the Cv into that equation and we have the R delta T term in the reduced format. I hope you understand the portion. So we have to calculate the delta U regarding R delta T. So that's why we have to take a equation of Cv regarding R. How can you calculate? We will come to that part in that portion. Okay. So here now this gamma for diatomic it was this gamma for diatomic it was 1.41 and for the monoatomic it was 1.67. So as gamma has a ratio of Cp by Cv, so 1.41 is nothing but coming from a ratio of 7 by 5, okay, and 1.67 will come by the ratio of 5 by 3. So 7 by 5, that is the Cv value is to be 5 by 2R and the Cp value has to be 7 by 2R. Okay, the same thing is applied to the gamma 1.67, that is the Cv value should be 3 by 2R and the Cp value should be 5 by 2R. Okay, so when you have this format of these two things, then you can easily understand that Cv for the oxygen is 5 by 2R and for the helium it should be 3 by 2R. Now we have the equation which is something looking like delta U equal to NCV bar. Okay, Cv bar for the per mole T2 minus T1. So for the oxygen it will become, N is for the oxygen is 3 as in the questions, Cv is something represent 5 by 2R and this is something delta T. So it will become 15 by 2R delta T. Okay, the delta U become 15 by 2R delta T for oxygen. Okay, and when you go to the argon part, then it will become delta U equal to NCV bar. N का value यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है 5, यहाँ पे आ रहा है 3 by 2R and that is something represent delta T. That is the difference. So it will again become 15 by 2R into delta T. So that is for the argon. Okay, for the argon delta U. So if you want to calculate the delta U total, then it will become delta U as they are in the closed container. यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है देखो, they are in the closed container. So as they are in the closed container part, so delta U of oxygen plus delta U of argon will be the summation of total delta U. That will something become 15 by 2R delta T plus 15 by 2R delta T. What will it become? It will become 15 plus 15, it will become 15R delta T. 15 by 2 delta T, R delta T plus 15 by 2 R delta T, that will become 15R delta T. So we have an option of 15 R delta T, 10 R delta T, 5 R delta T, 20 R delta T. So the correct option is this, that is 15 R delta T for the total of oxygen and argon. I hope you understand the part that how I reduce the value of Cp from the gamma or the Cv from the gamma and value of for argon Cv from the 1.67 gamma of argon and 1.41 gamma of oxygen. So remember that part, it is one of the most very important two terms, that is for oxygen it will become 1.41, for the helium it is 1.67, and if you go further for the triatomic it will become much lower, it will become 1.11, it will become much lower again. Okay, so the gamma value is decreased when the atomicity of the system is increased. This is a very common thing, and by regarding that we have the Cv, we have the mole number. Cv is something represent molar specific heat at constant volume, remember that part, and T2 minus T1 is the temperature difference. So I hope you understand, and this is the answer. Those who take that 15 R delta T, it should be the correct answer for them, and enjoy. Okay, so we go for the next question. So question number 2. For the question number 2, the question is coming from the devising photochemical cell where we have 4 different metal. One is lithium, one is sodium, one is potassium, and the second one is cesium. So the photochemical cell principle is something coming by a very famous of photoelectric effect point, where you have a metal surface, and into that metal surface the photon is going to be irradiated and it is going to be release an electron. That electron will flow from one direction, that is negative point to positive point, and as a result electric field should generate in the system. Now the point is, if that was the principle, then for a metal system the amount of photon, the energy of photon that is required, which is something called the work function represented as psi, is something represent that the minimum amount of photon energy required to release that electron from that specified system. Now the point is, if this is our part, then we have the principle of ionization potential, which is decreased from down the group. If you go starting from the lithium and if you end it for the cesium, then it decreases down the group. So cesium has the minimum amount of ionization energy, and when cesium has the minimum amount of ionization energy, it will require minimum amount of energy of photon to irradiate or to release that electron from that metal surface, and as a result the cesium should be the plussable metal for the uses in the photochemical cell, because it has the lowest value of IP, which can reflect over its uses in the devising photochemical cell. So those students who choose the option of cesium are the correct one, though who are not choosing that part one, it is not the correct option. So cesium should be the correct option, which can be used in the devising photochemical cell regarding these 4 alkaline metals. Okay, that is a group 1 periodic table metals. I hope you understand the point. So we are going to have the question number 3. So here the question number 3. What is that question number 3? In the question number 3 we have a plot of log x by m versus log p having a slope of 2 and having an intercept of 0.477. We have to find out the value of x by m at 4 atm. This is our function to calculate. This is coming from the adsorption isotherm portion question, where we have the Freundlich isotherm part, which is something represented by this equation, that is x by m is proportional to p to the power 1 by n. When you talk about the thing that is something called the isotherm, the first thing come to our mind is x by m is something called extent of adsorption, and when this extent of adsorption is plotted, again the adsorbent concentration or the pressure is something called the isotherm. Here we have the type of Friendlich isotherm, where if you equate this relation, then it will become x by m k into p to the power 1 by n, and then it will become log x by m, which will become log k plus 1 by n into log p, okay, 1 by n into log p. And if you plot a graph having these parts, then it is something represent y equal to mx plus c. What is something represent? It is represent y equal to mx plus c, because this is your y part, this is your x part, and this is your c part, and this is your m. So it will have a intercept having a positive slope graph, where this portion is something represent log k, okay, and this portion, that is the slope of the graph, is something represented by 1 by n. I hope you understand the point. Now we are going to have the datas, that is we have the slope value, that is 1 by n equal to 2, and we have the intercept, that is log k equal to 0.477. Now if you look at this part, then 1 by n become 2 and log k becomes 0.7, then I hope you can understand the part. 0.77, here they have a data, that is log 3 equal to 0.77. So I can write log k equal to log 3, where k become 3, okay. So if k become 3, then we have an equation which is equal to x by m equal to k p to the power 1 by n. So if we have the value of k is 3, we have to put the pressure of 4 atm, because here it explained at 4 atm pressure. 1 by m is something represented by 2, that will become 3 into 16. What is something represent? It will become 48. So the extent of adsorption, that is x by m, become 48. So the option was 6, 3, 48 and 9. So the 48 should be the correct option to explain this numerical. I hope you understand the principle that I am using to solve this numerical problem. It is a simple adsorption isotherm, which is specifically Friendlich isotherm, x by m proportional to p to the power 1 by n, and after giving the log function, we have this graph. By comparison this factor, we have 1 by n equal to 2 and log k equal to 0.477, and having the value of k and p and 1 by n, we have the x by m, that is something represent 48. The point is, if there is any point where you have doubt कि तुम्हारे ये लग रहा है कि सर ये जो बोल रहा है ये चीज़ गलत लग रहा है, ये चीज़ मुझे सही नहीं लग रहा है, इट इज़ नॉट गोइंग टू माई कॉन्सेप्ट प्रोसीड्योर, कॉमेंट सेक्शन खुला हुआ है, गो फॉर द कॉमेंट पार्ट, ओके. So this is the question number 3 of the 2nd September morning session JEE Mains question. It's coming from the physical chemistry part. So 3 questions are coming from the physical chemistry part, what coming from the thermodynamics, second one is for the atomic structure portion, that is coming from the photoelectric effect portion, and this is from the adsorption part. I hope you understand the part. So we go for the question number 4. So here we have the part of question number 4. It explains if a compound has a formula of AB4, it's a polar covalent compound, then its perfect geometry is. You have a molecule which is AB4, which is a polar covalent molecule. You have to find out what geometry it occupies. Now the point is, as we haven't know that what is A and what is B, then we can't find out the hybridization of AB4 by having the shortcut rule of hybridization. That what hybridization the AB4 should consist, it is sp3 or sp3d or sp3d2, whatever should be. But there is a question that come to our mind, that is when of the coordination number of 4, that is A is surrounded by 4 B atoms, then it should be dsp2, that is square planar geometry, okay, that is the geometry of square planar. It can have the sp3 part, that is the geometry of tetrahedral, and it can also another geometry which is something called sp3d, जिसको बोला जाता है seesaw structure. Now the point is, whatever the geometry that you will take, you have to prove that AB4 is a polar covalent molecule. Now if you do draw the square planar geometry, then it is something looking like this is the A and this is the B part, that is B, B, B and B, and obviously if it has some lone pair, then it residues some lone pair. But if this is its structure supposed to be, then it should be a non-polar system, because dipole moment for this structure is 0. If you consider the AB part, it has this in that direction, it is in that direction, it is in that direction, and it is in that direction. So if you consider that part, then mu becomes 0. If you go for the AB4 in tetrahedral format, then it will become something looking like this. Perfect tetrahedral structure, 10928 is the bond angle. And again, if it is occupy the non-polar, if it occupy the tetrahedral part, then it should be a non-polar one also, as I explained to you. So I hope you understand the point. That is also become a non-polar part. So in the tetrahedral form, it will also become the non-polar. Now you have the seesaw structure. Seesaw structure is the derivative structure of trigonal bipyramid. Is the derivative structure of trigonal bipyramid. So it will become A. It is something looking like this. B should be in the axial position, and the lone pair that residue to the system in that equatorial position. That is the Bend's rule, which explain that lone pair should be occupy the equatorial position and the rest of the atom should occupy the axial position. So if it occupy this structure, then you can easily understand that this structure should not be a non-polar part, because this axial, this orientation are cancelled each other dipole moment, but this equatorial position movement is not cancelling their dipole moment, and as a result the mu become not equal to 0, and as a result the system become polar. So if you consider this part about AB4 system, your answer should be sp3 dehybridization having the geometry of seesaw structure. Because if you consider the tetrahedral geometry, it will again become in that format where the dipole moment becomes 0, because these three moments are coming in downside direction, this is in upside direction, it will cancel each other, so mu becomes 0. So I think this is the permanent structure by which you can explain that this molecule has a polar covalent 1. Okay, I hope you understand the concept what I am trying to explain you. So here if you have the options of square planar, of tetrahedral, seesaw and the square pyramidal, it should be the seesaw structure that we have. Square pyramidal ये नहीं हो सकता, because square pyramidal में the coordination should be 5, the coordination number should be 5, otherwise the square planar structure it hasn't possible, where it has a coordination number of 4. I hope you understand the point what I am explaining to you. Okay, now so question number 5, what question number 5 states? Question number 5 states, what was the incorrect option to explain regarding the ozone molecules? I didn't have the options for that question. There were several points about ozone, that ozone that there was a point, I think the thing that I memorized, there was a point that ozone helps the atmosphere to protect from harmful rays, that is totally correct. Ozone can convert NO to NO2, that is totally correct. So there are several points which I don't remember at that time, but the thing that I memorized, that there was a question that ozone is converting the Cl radical or the chlorofluorocarbon system into Cl dioxide. Okay, so dioxide means Cl2O. Now the point is, when you have a freons, that is chlorofluorocarbon, which are going to give some Cl dot plus CF2Cl having exposed to photons, this Cl dot is going to react with ozone by forming a famous system of ClO plus O2. Okay, and then this ClO again in conversion with atmospheric O, and this will convert into Cl dot into O2. Okay, now the point is again regenerate Cl dot starting from the Cl dot, and here we have the ClO, which is the fundamental case that we have. It is not Cl2O. So the option that which represent that Cl2O, which is the part to explain having a chlorine dioxide by reacting Cl dot with ozone, that is incorrect option. Okay, वो वाला option तो था, that is totally incorrect to explain, that is Cl2O जो form कर रहा था. So I think that is the incorrect option to explain, because here it's proved that it is from ClO, not Cl2O. Okay, so that was the incorrect option that we have. I hope question number 7. In the question number 7, what we have a reaction which is copper solid plus SN2 plus aqueous, which is converting into copper 2 plus aqueous plus SN solid. If you look at this reaction, this is a part of the redox reaction, and I hope you understand that this is a part of numerical regarding electrochemistry chapter. So here we have two separate reaction, that is copper solid which is converting into the copper 2 plus aqueous plus 2 electron. It is a part of anode which something represent the oxidation. Okay, and when you have the separate part, that is SN2 plus aqueous is going to be converted into the tin solid plus 2 electron. This is a path of cathode. Okay, and this cathode and anode, it should be SN solid minus 2 electron. That is something represent the cathode part, that is something represent the reduction part. So this is something oxidation part, this is something the reduction part, and both simultaneously they will combine as a redox. We have to find out the delta G naught, that is something calculated by this equation, minus NF naught cell. When you have the NF naught cell calculation, the E naught cell can be calculated by this famous equation, that is E naught cell equal to E naught R minus E naught L. What is for R? R for reduction. So E naught R is something represent E naught cathode, R for right, R for reduction. Reduction किस में होता है? Reduction होता है cathode में, and L for left, L for oxidation. So L is something represent the anode. So cathode represent this electrode, and anode represent this electrode. So we will write E naught SN2 plus SN, ऐसे लिख लेना है at every time, minus E naught copper 2 plus copper. I hope you understand the portion. And when you have SN2 plus SN, copper 2 plus copper, the SN2 plus SN has a value of minus 0.16 volt, that is minus 0.16 volt, minus इसका value has 0.34 volt, so it will become 0.34. So the formula that will become minus 0.5 volt. Okay, that will become 0.5 volt. So if you have to calculate the delta G naught, for the delta G naught the value of N is 2, because here in both cases we have the number of electron transfer, that is 2, the number of electron transfer per mole, that is equal to 2. F for the Faraday, which has a value of 96500 coulomb, okay, into E naught cell which has a value of minus 0.50 volt. So it will become minus minus plus, that will 0.5 into 2 to the power 1. So it will become 96500 coulomb into volt, which is a part of joule, okay. So it will become 96500 joule. If you convert into the kilojoule part, it will become 96.5 kilojoule. This is the value of delta G. I hope in some cases you will understand that the delta G naught is positive, and तुम्हें लगेगा कि it will become non-spontaneous, but the format is this, that is E naught cell become negative, so delta G naught become positive, and which represent that this reaction is non-spontaneous. But here this is not the question. The question is you have to calculate the delta G naught, and that is something calculated by this equation, having the help of this equation and having the value of F and N. Okay, I hope you understand the portion. So we are going to the question number 6, because मैंने 7 पहले कर लिया, 6 मैंने बोला ही नहीं. Okay, so question number 6. Which of the following graph is incorrect for an ideal gas when you plot density versus temperature? When you plot density versus temperature, I think the options was density versus temperature. The option was one was this. Which was the incorrect? Sorry, the question was which was the incorrect graph. Okay. Someone is this, and there was someone is, I think that 1 by T, that is something represented just like this, Here the part is this T is something represent degree centigrade, or the T can be represented in terms of Kelvin also. Okay, the T something represent in terms of Kelvin also. So 1 by T or T, cap T or small t, cap T is something represent degree centigrade, small t is something represent degree centigrade, capital T is something represent Kelvin. So which one of the graph is incorrect regarding these three? Now we have the famous ideal gas equation, which is something called PV equal to nRT, and when you got into the PV equal to nRT part, this P part can be reduced into that format, that is N by V. N is something represent the mole number, N is something represent the mole number, and V is something represent the volume of the gas. So remember one thing, N is something calculated by W by M, it is something calculated by W by M. So it is a mass ratio, so it is a something represent the amount of gas that you have, and V is the volume. So N by V is something represent the density, that is D equal to N by V, density equal to mass by volume. So we can write P equal to dRT. So what is something represent? This is something represent P equal to dRT, because N is something represent the mass of the gas and V is something represent the volume of the gas. So mass by volume, that will become density. So D is something represent P by RT. So if you plot P versus 1 by T, sorry, if you plot D versus 1 by T, I hope you understand the point, then it will something represent Y equal to mx, where m equal to P by R. So the equation should be passing through origin, where you have a slope of P by R. So this graph is totally correct. If you got into that part, this is totally incorrect, because you plot D versus T, and if you plot D versus T, it is something represented by this graph. So the incorrect graph should be this, not this or this. I hope you understand the point, because it follows the Y equal to mx equation, which is something represented as this graph. Okay, जो ये ग्राफ को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा है. So I hope you understand the point. This is question number 6 equation. जिन लोगों ने ये वाला point को बोला था कि this is the incorrect graph, that is the correct option to choose. Okay, I hope you understand. So we go for the question number 8. So question number 8. Question number is something represent, it's a simple structure. इसको यहीं पे कर देते हैं. So what is the structure of Dettol? देखो कुछ क्वेश्चन होता है जो बहुत ही इंफॉर्मेटिव लेवल में होता है, मतलब अगर तुम्हें पता है तो होगा, नहीं पता है तो नहीं होगा, कि कोई कॉन्सेप्ट वगैरह अप्लाई करने की वहाँ पे जरूरत नहीं है. इट इज अ टोटली इंफॉर्मेटिव क्वेश्चन दैट यू हैव टू नो द आंसर, अदरवाइज इट विल बी नॉट डन. ओके, so the correct option, the correct structure of Dettol is this, that is 4 chloro, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so that is become 4 chloro 3 5 dimethyl phenol, 4 chloro 3 5 dimethyl phenol, which is the correct structure of Dettol, and this is the correct option that we have. Okay, so इसको लेके ज़्यादा हम लोग यहाँ पे बात नहीं करते हैं. So we got in the part that is for the question number 9. Okay, so question number 9, you have a molecule which has something looking like this. मेरा ड्राइंग खराब है तो इसलिए थोड़ा इसको एडजस्ट कर लेना. यहाँ पे क्या आ रहा है, यहाँ पे एक डबल बॉन्ड है दिख रहा है, यहाँ पे CHO है. अच्छा ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे मिथाइल ग्रुप है और यहाँ पे एक मिथाइल ग्रुप है. सो व्हाट आर द पोर्शन? दिस इज the structure of the molecule. So if you draw the structure of the molecule, and if you are going to the numbering position, then it is something looking like. नंबरिंग कहाँ से स्टार्ट करेंगे? तो नंबरिंग यहाँ पे बहुत जगह से स्टार्ट कर सकते थे तुम, मतलब कोई भी कर सकते हो, बट करेक्ट कौन सा वाला है, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सो करेक्ट वन इज, इट इज स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम दैट पार्ट, दैट इज 1 2 3 4 5 6. This is the correct one to draw the molecule, because if you start from that point, that is something represented as, that is something represent 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, that's something, a point by which you can explain that the numbering. लेकिन यहाँ पे भी 6 कार्बन आ रहा है, यहाँ पे भी तुम स्टार्ट कर रहे हो, ये भी 6 कार्बन आ रहा है, और अगर तुम 1 2 3 4 5 6 यहाँ पे भी जाओ तो 6 कार्बन आएगा. लॉन्ग चेन यहाँ पे सभी लॉन्ग चेन है, सभी जगह पे 6 कार्बन तुम्हें देखने को मिलेगा, लेकिन कौन सा वाला में तुम्हें फंक्शनल ग्रुप से स्टार्ट करना पड़ रहा है. CO2H is the most fundamental functional group element that we have in that structure. So we have to start from the CO2H carbon, not the CH3 carbon, not the otherwise carbon. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं? तो उसके अकॉर्डिंगली 5 नंबर पे CHO है, CHO यहाँ पे साइड ग्रुप है, तो साइड ग्रुप के लिए CHO का नाम आता है फॉर्माइल, तो इट विल बिकम 5 फॉर्माइल। 6 कार्बन है तो दैट विल बिकम हेक्स, ओके, हेक्स। 3 इनोइक एसिड, okay, this is the UPAC name of this entire molecule, that is start from the 1 2 3 4 5 6 5 formyl hex 3 enoic acid. I hope you understand the portion. Here CHO is coming from the sidewise or the substitute group, so that's why we have the formyl portion, and hex 3 enoic acid is our main पोर्शन वेयर दिस 3 in 1 ओइक एसिड भी तुम लिख सकते हो। 3 in लिखने की जरूरत यह है कि यहाँ पे 3 नंबर पे यहाँ पे हम लोग का डबल बॉन्ड मिल रहा है, तो इन 1 ओइक एसिड तुम यहाँ पे लिख सकते हो, लेकिन यहाँ पे जो पोर्शन है यहाँ पे 2 वावेल साइमल्टेनियसली आ रहा है, ई के बाद ओ आ रहा है, सो वी हैव टू ओमिट वन, सो दिस इज द ओमिट पार्ट एंड इट विल बिकम 5 फॉर्मल हेक्स 3 इनोइक एसिड। दिस इज द यूपैक नेम ऑफ दैट कॉम्पाउंड। आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड द पोर्शन, ओके। तो जिन लोगों ने भी ये वाला यूपैक नेम लिखा था दैट इज द टोटली करेक्ट, अदरवाइज जो और ऑप्शन था दैट इज टोटली इनकरेक्ट वन, बिकॉज यू हैव टू स्टार्ट द नंबरिंग फ्रॉम द फंक्शनल ग्रुप एंड you have to take the long chain procedure. So regarding that, the CHO is our side chain product and we have the long chain, that is 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so go for the next questions. So now we have the question number, I think 9 के बाद ये question number आ रहा है 10 and we have this famous organic questions. यहाँ पे मेरे पास सब क्वेश्चन नहीं है, आई डोंट हैव दैट ऑल क्वेश्चन ऑफ द मॉर्निंग शिफ्ट। जितना भी मेरे पास मेमोरी बेस्ड क्वेश्चन है उतना मैं तुम लोग के साथ एक्सप्लेन कर रहा हूँ। सो दिस इज द पार्ट ऑफ दिस साइक्लोइन मॉलिक्यूल, जहाँ पे एक ऐसा मॉलिक्यूल है विच इज समथिंग लुकिंग लाइक दिस। इसको दिया गया है H3O प्लस हिट, और यहाँ पे कुछ ऑप्शन मैंने यहाँ पे डाले थे, जितने भी मेमोरी बेस्ड मेरे पास रिसोर्सेस थे उसके अकॉर्डिंगली आई पुट दोज ऑप्शंस, सो यू हैव टू चूज आउट विच वन इज द करेक्ट प्रोडक्ट। सो द फर्स्ट थिंग इज दिस इज अ साइक्लो पेंटाइल रिंग, ये साइक्लो पेंटाइल रिंग है, जहाँ पे ये इसको साइक्लोपेंटेन बोल सकते हो, और इसके अकॉर्डिंगली यू हैव एन एडिशनल फॉर्म ऑफ एल्कीन। तो यहाँ पे इसको मैकेनिज्म पहले हम लोग करते हैं, उसके बाद आते हैं कि क्या होगा क्या नहीं होगा। एज वी हैव एल्कीन, सो दैट एल्कीन विल एब्स्ट्रैक्ट द इलेक्ट्रोफाइल विच इज एन H प्लस पार्ट बाय इट्स पाई बॉन्ड और द पाई इलेक्ट्रॉन डोनेशन, जिसमें देखने में ऐसा लगेगा CH2 प्लस। यहाँ पे बोल सकते थे कि सर और एक यहाँ पे फॉर्मूला है, मतलब और एक कॉम्बिनेशन यहाँ पे हो सकता था विच इज समथिंग लुकिंग लाइक दिस CH2 प्लस, बस एज दिस इज अ 1 डिग्री कार्बोकैटायन एंड दिस इज अ 2 डिग्री कार्बोकैटायन, सो 2 डिग्री कार्बोकैटायन इज ऑलवेज मोर स्टेबल देन 1 डिग्री, सो दैट्स व्हाई वी चूज दिस ऑप्शन नॉट दोस, ओके। तो ये हम लोग का मेजर पोर्शन है। इसके बाद क्या होगा, इसके बाद जो होगा वो थोड़ा अलग होगा, जिसको बोला जाएगा रिंग एक्सपेंशन। अभी क्वेश्चन आएगा यहाँ पे रिंग एक्सपेंशन होगा क्यों, व्हाट इज द रीजन बिहाइंड इट। द रीजन इज साइक्लोपेंटाइल रिंग, दैट इज 5 मेंबर रिंग इज लेस स्टेबल कंपेयर्ड टू द साइक्लोहेक्साइल रिंग, मतलब 6 मेंबर रिंग से 5 मेंबर रिंग थोड़ा अनस्टेबल है बिकॉज ऑफ एंगल स्ट्रेन, and the part is there are some angle strain and the bond strain portion in which the ring expansion will take place. There was another explanation in which we explained that ring expansion is a thermodynamic spontaneous phenomenon, because when the ring expansion is happen, the randomness of the system is decreased, and when the randomness of the system is decreased, the entropy of the system is going to be decreased, which stabilize the system, and that's why ring expansion it's a very spontaneous phenomenon that we have. तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा, ये जो बॉन्ड है ये बॉन्ड यहाँ पे जाएगा, ओके, एंड इट इज समथिंग रिप्रेजेंटेड दैट 1 2 3 4 5 6, हम लोग इसको इंक्लूड करके यहाँ पे एक 6 मेंबर रिंग यहाँ पे ड्रॉ करेंगे, ये चीज दिमाग में रखना है। और इसके साथ ये इसके साथ यहाँ पे एक CH3 होगा, ठीक है, और इसके बाजू वाले कार्बन में दैट इज एडजेसेंट कार्बन में यहाँ पे एक CH3 होगा, और ये कार्बन एक बॉन्ड शॉर्ट हो जा रहा है, इट विल बिकम 3 सिग्मा बॉन्डेड कार्बन एटम, सो इट विल ऑक्युपाई अनदर प्लस चार्ज। इसका तो प्लस चार्ज न्यूट्रल हो जाएगा बिकॉज इट विल गेट 4 बॉन्ड्स, बट दिस कार्बन विल गेट electron deficient system by having 3 sigma bond. Now it's a very simple thing, as we have the H2O plus system. Substitution जहाँ पे एक न्यूक्लियोफाइल तुम्हें ऐड होगा, ओके, जहाँ पे न्यूक्लियोफाइल एक ऐड होगा इन दैट कार्बन एंड इट विल बिकम समथिंग रिप्रेजेंटेड as this. Okay, so this is the correct option that we have. Okay, यहाँ पे मैंने रिंग के अंदर से अटैक दिखाया है, रिंग के अंदर से अटैक नहीं होता है, ये तुम लोग को मालूम है. ये sp2 हाइब्रिडाइज कार्बन है, इसका 2 अनहाइब्रिडाइज पी लोप है जो ऊपर और नीचे दोनों साइड से अटैक हो सकता है. नाउ द पॉइंट इज, it is the portion that is first the H plus is abstracted by the pi bond, then H2 is attacked that cyclohexane ring. Okay, and as a result we have this product. This is a part of ring expansion, और ring expansion एक सिस्टम के लिए बहुत स्टेबिलाइज होता है बिकॉज फॉर द रिंग एक्सपेंशन द सिस्टम गेटिंग थर्मोडायनामिक स्टेबिलिटी बाय डिक्रीजिंग इट्स अ वैल्यू ऑफ एंट्रोपी, बिकॉज साइक्लिक जितना बढ़ेगा उतना वो सिस्टम स्टेबिलाइज्ड होगा, रैंडमनेस उतना डिक्रीज करेगा अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट पार्ट. Okay, I hope you understand the question number 10. The correct option is this. Now we will go to the other question, next question, that is question number 11. Question number 11. What is question number 11? Question number 11 consists of molecules which are something represent in terms of their functional group of aldehyde, and they are going to have some HCN addition. Now if I draw the HCN addition common mechanism of aldehyde, then it is something looking like this. First, the H plus of HCN is going to be abstracted by oxygen. It is something looking like this. ये कुछ दिखने में ऐसा लगेगा. Then this Cn minus will attack that carbon, और ये दिखने में कुछ ऐसा होगा. यहाँ पे दोनों चीज दिखने में important है. 2 points that are very important to notify. The first point is this carbon is sp2 and it is converting into the sp3 part. Okay, so that is a part of nucleophilic addition. Okay, that is a part of nucleophilic addition. And the second part is, as the carbon is converting into the sp2 to the sp3 part, the steric hindrance regarding the central carbon atom is going to be increased. तो दो चीज तुम्हें यहाँ पे याद रखना पड़ेगा. ये है न्यूक्लियोफिलिक एडिशन, जिसके लिए तुम्हारे पास चाहिए एक इलेक्ट्रोफिलिक कार्बन सेंटर, एंड द सेकंड थिंग इज आफ्टर कन्वर्शन फ्रॉम sp2 to sp3 the steric hindrance around the central carbon is going to be increased, which makes the system a little bit unstable. Okay, now look at this point. Here we have some electron donating group or the and the electron releasing group. यहाँ पे हम लोग के पास NO2 है और OCH3 है. OCH3 में क्या होता है? OCH3 has a capability of plus R as well as the minus I donation. And for the NO2, it has both electron withdrawing effect of minus R and the minus I part. That's why NO2 is one of the most strongest electron withdrawing group that we have. So when you consider the nucleophilic addition, the first thing come to our mind that how much this carbon is electrophilic in nature, and that is entirely described by its substituents. जैसे यहाँ पे तुम्हारे पास NO2 ग्रुप है जो इलेक्ट्रॉन withdrawing effect शो करेगा, and when it shows electron withdrawing effect, it is something represented that the carbon become more electropositive and the nucleophilic addition become more spontaneous. So for the OCH3, these two molecules, ये तो सामने नहीं आएगा, इसका ऑर्डर सबसे कम होगा, उसके बाद उसके पहले ये दोनों आएगा. Okay, so this NO2 derivatives will come first compared to this OCH2 derivative. And if you look at this part, यहाँ पे NO2 कौन सा वाला पोजीशन में है? यहाँ पे NO2 है और पैरा पोजीशन में, और यहाँ पे NO2 है मेटा पोजीशन में. So as the NO2 is in the meta position, it will show only the minus I effect. In the meta position, the NO2 only show the minus I effect. And when the NO2 is a minus R and the minus I when the NO2 will show the minus R and the minus I both effect in the ring, it will have is in the ortho position, and when it will have the only minus R, it will is in, ये कहाँ पे होगा? ये होगा पैरा पोजीशन पे. तो माइनस आर और माइनस आई वाला जो इफेक्ट है ये दिखाता है जब ये ऑर्थो पे होता है, और जब माइनस आर खाली दिखाता है पैरा पे और माइनस आई दिखाता है मेटा पे. नाउ द पोर्शन इज इट हैज एनी काइंड ऑफ ऑर्थो डेरिवेटिव, सो इट हैज para and the meta derivative. So regarding that, minus r effect has a more dominant character than minus I. तो यहाँ पे ये वाला मॉलिक्यूल का जो कार्बन का इलेक्ट्रॉन डेफिशिएंसी होगा वो सबसे ज्यादा होगा. Okay, because it has NO2 which shows a minus r effect. That's why this molecule should be most reactive towards HCN addition, because minus I is not predominantly strong compared to minus R. It is not that much comparable to minus R. So minus R strong है, resonance effect strong है, तो इसीलिए पैरा का जो सब्स्टिट्यूट होगा वो ज्यादा होगा. पहले मैंने बोल दिया था OCST वाला हम लोग के यहाँ पे आएगा ही नहीं, because OCST is something showing resonating plus R effect. Okay, and as it is in meta and the ortho position, sorry, meta in the para and the para position, so it will not that much effect to have regarding minus I. Okay, so I hope you understand. अभी यहाँ पे एक क्वेश्चन आता था कि सर आप ये वाला इफेक्ट तब क्यों पढ़ाए. ये वाला इफेक्ट मैंने इसलिए पढ़ाया because when you have two derivative between CHO at NO2 and CHO at ortho position, sorry, at meta position, ऑर्थो डेरिवेटिव एंड द मेटा डेरिवेटिव, इसमें अगर क्वेश्चन आता है कि कौन सा वाला का ज्यादा होगा, उसके अकॉर्डिंगली क्वेश्चन दिमाग में आएगा कि सर आपने बोला कि माइनस आर और माइनस आई जहां पे काम पे लग रहा है, दैट कार्बन शुड बी मोर इलेक्ट्रोपॉजिटिव एंड दैट रिएक्शन शुड हैपन साइमल्टेनियसली और द स्पॉन्टेनियसली. But there is a question that coming from the second point. When the carbon become sp2 to sp3, the NO2 will show a little bit amount of ortho effect, which will prohibit the carbon to transfer from sp2 to sp3 hybridization. And as a result, यहाँ पे minus r minus I होने के बावजूद, instead of presence of minus r and the minus r to dominating electron withdrawing effect, पैरा का HCN addition ज़्यादा fast होगा compared to the ortho production. Okay, as ortho has both minus r and minus r, but there is a different factor which explain in that second point, जहाँ पे NO2 एक ortho effect देगा and as a result the system getting a little bit amount of destabilized, the carbon getting a little bit amount of destabilized when this carbon is going to be converted into this format. Okay, तो इसलिए पैरा का सबसे ज्यादा होगा, उसके बाद ऑर्थो आएगा, उसके बाद मेटा आएगा. This is the common order that we have. That para is the most reactive, then we have the ortho one, then we go for the meta product. और OCSC यहाँ पे आ रहा नहीं है because that is the electron donating group, not the withdrawing group. Okay, I hope you understand. So go for the question number 12. So for the question number 12, we have another organic chemistry questions, in which we have this structure, which is something looking like this. HBr इसमें एक्सेस में दिया गया है, तो पहला चीज जो होगा, this pi bond will cleave and accept the H plus that is coming from HBr. जो कॉमन है पहले वो पहले दिखाता हूं, उसके बाद फिर आता हूं. अभी दो जगह में कार्बोकैटायन हो सकता है, यहाँ पे भी हो सकता है, यहाँ पे भी हो सकता है. मैं यहाँ पे दूंगा, यहाँ पे नहीं दूंगा, यहाँ पे मैं हाइड्रोजन को दूंगा. The question should be coming in your mind that why here the plus charge is dominating, because यहाँ पे अगर plus charge होता है तो it's become little bit less stable compared to this point, because here we have oxygen which show a strong electron withdrawing effect. Okay, it is an electronegative element first of all. So here if you have the plus charge, it will show a strong minus I effect which will destabilize the carbocation. So that's why the carbocation coming in that position. And then we have a Br minus that will attack that portion, and we have the molecule which is something looking like this. यहाँ पे drawing थोड़ा खराब हो रहा है, जैसे मैंने बोला था वैसे ही हो रहा है यहाँ पे. Then the excess thing will come. When the excess thing will come, this H plus is going to be abstracted by oxygen lone pair. It is not a common or the common reaction or the normal reaction that we have, because as HBr is in the excess amount, this thing is happened. Okay. So it will become OH plus, and then Br minus will attack that carbon, the OH will leave. In excess, it is something looking like this. I hope you understand the portion. Okay. So in excess amount of HBr, this thing is happened. Then we have the next case, that is KOH addition. Upon the KOH addition, it is a elimination reaction. Okay. And when you have the part of elimination reaction, it is something looking like this is the alpha carbon, regarding that it has a beta hydrogen which is going to be abstracted by OH minus. And then here regarding this bromine, it is the alpha and it is beta, and also this is the beta part. Now the question is, this beta hydrogen has this beta carbon has two hydrogen. Which part will be abstracted by this alcoholic KOH or the OH minus? ये वाला ब्रोमीन को निकालने के लिए यहाँ से लेंगे या यहाँ से लेंगे, because this also consists hydrogen as is a methyl group. Now the point is, ये वाला portion में तो यहाँ से ही निकलेगा, तो it will something looking like this. It will be something looking like this. Here we have the OH. This is the double bond. Okay. This is the double bond. Then यहाँ पे क्या होगा, यहाँ पे एक ब्रोमीन है और यहाँ पे एक CH3H है. ओके, मतलब CH2H है. अगर ये वाला हाइड्रोजन यहाँ से फिर निकलता है तो इट्स बिकम अनस्टेबल प्रोडक्ट, बिकॉज ये बीच में एक sp कार्बन आ जाएगा विच इज एलिन सिस्टम, जो ज्यादा स्टेबल नहीं है. सो रिगार्डिंग द स्टेबिलिटी ऑफ द कंपाउंड, यहाँ पे हाइड्रोजन आएगा और यहाँ से ब्रोमीन निकलेगा. सो द एक्चुअल प्रोडक्ट इज समथिंग लुकिंग लाइक दिस. मैंने जो बोला आई थिंक समझ में आ गया कि क्यों मैंने ये चीज को बोला, कि वहां से मैं यहाँ से जो सिस्टम है वो क्यों मैंने ये वाला बीटा हाइड्रोजन को चॉइस किया, क्यों ये बीटा हाइड्रोजन को नहीं चॉइस किया, बिकॉज यहाँ पे अगर डबल बॉन्ड आता है आफ्टर हैविंग दिस बीटा हाइड्रोजन एब्स्ट्रक्शन, इट विल बी अ अनस्टेबल प्रोडक्ट compared to this one. Okay, then we have the ozonolysis. अभी ओजोनोलाइसिस में क्या होगा, यहाँ पे इसको O3 और जिंक के लिए रिएक्शन किया जा रहा है. क्या होगा, ये जो बॉन्ड है ये ब्रेक होगा. These are the two things that is going to be break. तो ये अगर ब्रेक होता है तो यहाँ पे क्या आएगा, यहाँ पे कुछ आएगा, ये दिखने में कुछ ऐसा लगेगा. मैं यहाँ पे इसको ड्रॉ करता हूँ. चलो यहाँ पे मैं इसको ड्रॉ करता हूँ. अगर ये वाले को करते हैं तो ये कुछ दिखने में ऐसा आएगा, एक OH आएगा जो पहले से ही था. ओके, और उसके बाद जो आएगा वो होगा यहाँ पे C डबल बॉन्ड OH. ओके, ये वाला फ्रैगमेंट, ये डबल बॉन्ड को दो हिस्से में काटो. एक हिस्सा यहाँ पे आएगा, मतलब ये डबल बॉन्ड को दो हिस्से में काटो, ऐसे ऐसे करके दो हिस्से में ऑक्सीजन डाल दो. This is the shortcut method to form the ozonolysis product. तो इसलिए मैंने ये वाला लिखा. अभी इसको अगर तुम दो हिस्सों में काटोगे तो क्या दिखने में आएगा, ये दिखने में आएगा, देखो यहाँ पे एक डबल बॉन्ड है जो आएगा, फिर सिंगल बॉन्ड है, फिर डबल बॉन्ड है. हम लोग यहाँ पे दो ऑक्सीजन यहाँ पे बिठाएंगे और उसके अकॉर्डिंगली दो हाइड्रोजन यहाँ पे आ जाएगा. करेक्ट, मतलब ये क्या आ रहा है, CHO जिसका नाम है ग्लाइऑक्साल. और बाकी जो ये वाला पोर्शन है, ये वाला पोर्शन फॉर्मेल्डिहाइड क्रिएट करेगा. बहुत ही सिंपल. तो यू हैव द प्रोडक्ट व्हिच इज समथिंग लुकिंग लाइक दिस. दिस इज द फर्स्ट प्रोडक्ट दैट यू हैव. द सेकंड प्रोडक्ट इज समथिंग लुकिंग लाइक दिस एंड द थर्ड प्रोडक्ट इज लुकिंग लाइक दिस. तो यहाँ पे तीन प्रोडक्ट सी में देखने को मिलेगा. वन इज फॉर्मेल्डिहाइड, वन इज OHCHO वाला जो है, एंड द सेकंड वन इज ग्लिसरल्डिहाइड. ओके, so we have formaldehyde, this product, and the glyceraldehyde. This is the final product of C. जिन लोगों ने भी ये वाला ऑप्शन किया था, that is the correct option that they have. I hope you understand the portion. Okay, so the last question that you have in that today's 2nd September question solve of JEE Mains. So the last one, that is question number 13. In the question number 13, the glucose is react with 3 separate systems. The number one process, it is react with HNO3 and acetic anhydride. Okay, this Ac2 is something represent acetic anhydride. Okay, acetic anhydride is a acetylating agent that used verifiedly in several organic reactions. This is the structure of acetic anhydride. Okay, and the second case it is reacting with only acetic anhydride, and the third case it is reacting with first H2 nickel then acetic anhydride. So you have to find out the moles of acetic anhydride used in XYZ product formations. That's a very interesting question. Very, very interesting question. So we have to draw first the structure of glucose. CHO, okay, HOH, OHH, HOH, HOH, CH2OH. This is the structure of C6H12O6. In first case, it is reacting with nitric acid. What will it have? When the nitric acid will convert into a CO2H, these are all same, and this CH2H will also convert into the CO2H part. And when second case, when it is reacting with acetic anhydride, all the OH, these are the OH parts, okay, all the OH parts are going to be converted into the OAC, that is OCOCH3. मतलब यहाँ पे एसिटाइलेशन होगा. दिखने में कैसा लगेगा प्रोडक्ट? मैं यहाँ पे ड्रॉ कर रहा हूँ, देख लो एक बार. This will become CO2H. यहाँ पे होगा HOCOCH3. This will become OAC. मैं यहाँ पे AC लिख रहा हूँ because acetyl group को short में ऐसे लिखते हैं. This will become OAC. This will become OAC. मतलब यहाँ पे कितना number of acetic anhydride लग रहा है? 4 moles of acetic anhydride that it requires. In the second case, when you have the acetic anhydride individually treated with this glucose molecule, it will convert all the alcohols into the acetylated part, that is HOAC, OACH, HOAC, HOAC and CH2OAC. Okay. So here it requires 5 moles of acetic anhydride. In the second case, in the third case and the last one, when it is react with H2 nickel first, then the H2 nickel will convert this CHO into a reduction part of 1 degree alcohol. Rest of the things will remain same. And then it is reacting with acetic anhydride. It is something looking like CH2OAC, HOAC, OACH, HOAC, HOAC and CH2OAC. This is the acetylating agent that we have, that is acetic anhydride. In that case, it requires 6 moles. So the answer should be 4, 5, 6. It is a very simple and a basic concept that you have to apply by having the structure of glucose molecule. Okay. In first case, the oxidation is happened, then the CHO and the CH2OH both are converting into the carboxylic acid. As HNO3 is a strong oxidizing agent, it will convert both CHO and the alcohol part into the acid. Okay, and when in the third case, it is reacted with H2 nickel, which is a reducing agent, it will convert into it as a alcohol portion, that is CHO to CH2OH. And then after that, the OH is acetyl by acetic anhydride, and we have these products. So I hope you understand the entire concept which I am explaining to you, which I am describing to you in each case. जितना भी हो सकता था, जितना भी मुझे मालूम है, I explain every question in a well verified format. बहुत सारा रिसर्च करना पड़ा, उसके बाद बहुत सारा बुक मुझे लेना पड़ा, उसको पढ़ना पड़ा, उसके बाद I have these all questions answered. ओके सो इसके लिए थोड़ा तो फीडबैक चाहिए. सो सब्सक्राइब टू माई चैनल दैट इज B.Chemistry. अच्छा लगा तो शेयर करो, लाइक करो, और जैसे मैंने बोला कि इफ देर इज एनी प्रॉब्लम रिगार्डिंग योर थॉट एंड माई कॉन्सेप्ट, कॉमेंट सेक्शन खुला हुआ है, गो फॉर द कॉमेंट सेक्शन. Okay, so this is the part of our first lecture of the JEE Mains 2nd September morning shift question paper. जितना था मेरे पास, जितना रिसोर्स था, उसके अकॉर्डिंगली मैंने एक्सप्लेन करने की कोशिश की. आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड द प्रोसेस. मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में, जहां पे सॉलिड स्टेट वाला भी आ सकता है, और ये 2nd सितंबर का जो सेकेंड शिफ्ट का क्वेश्चन था उसका भी सॉल्व पेपर आ सकता है. आई होप you understand the process. Support us, support the channel, otherwise it will become hard to motivate. I hope you understand the process. Thank you very much. Thank you for your precious time. See you in the next video. So thank you.